Today we're going to be discussing gun control and why it simply does not work. Gun control has been a pretty controversial topic for many years. Many people advocate for stricter laws while others argue that it simply will not solve the problem of gun violence. We're going to discuss some of the evidence behind gun control and why it's failed to reduce gun violence in the past. We'll be looking at previous laws and statutes that were implemented in the past and examining their effectiveness at stopping gun violence. First up, we'll take a look at the 1994 assault weapons ban, which was passed by Congress and signed into law by President Bill Clinton. The law banned the manufacture, sale, and possession of certain semi-automatic firearms, as well as magazines that could hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Despite this ban, studies have shown that it did not have a significant impact on reducing gun violence. It actually did quite the opposite, and gun violence continued to rise during the time that the ban was in effect. This demonstrates that banning certain types of firearms does not necessarily result in a decrease in gun violence. So let's run that back. We banned a lot of semi-automatic firearms and so-called high-capacity magazines, and it did nothing to curb gun violence. So why do we still think if we introduce new legislation to ban firearms, that it's going to magically work this time around? But I digress. Another example of gun control legislation that simply didn't work was the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act. This law requires background checks for individuals purchasing firearms from licensed dealers. However, studies have shown that individuals who want to purchase firearms can easily bypass this requirement by purchasing guns from unlicensed dealers or through private sales or on the street. This means that the Brady Act has not been effective in preventing criminals and other dangerous individuals from obtaining firearms. Well, no shit. Additionally, we can actually take a look at the effectiveness of gun control in other countries as well. In Australia, for example, a massive buyback program was implemented in 1996 in response to a mass shooting. The program resulted in the confiscation of approximately 650,000 firearms from Australian citizens. However, studies have shown that while the buyback program was successful in reducing firearm suicides, it did not have a significant impact on reducing firearm homicides. This kind of demonstrates that even drastic measures like a gun buyback program do not necessarily result in a reduction of gun violence. So if you look back at previous laws and statutes like the 1994 assault weapons ban, the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, and see how ineffective the gun buyback program was in Australia, you'll start to realize that some of these things just simply don't work. Some of our fellow Americans seem to think that it's sunshine and rainbows all the time. We seem to immediately want to jump to banning firearms and not look at things such as mental illness. I'm asking for a friend, if we want to stop drunk drivers and getting DUIs, do we ban all cars? No. There was a time and place in history where pretty much every American carried a firearm at all times. And I'd be willing to bet you the crime rate was a lot lower. I got another idea. What if we ban or make murder illegal and then they can't kill people, right? Some people seem to forget that murder carries a much higher charge than illegally buying a firearm. So if somebody's willing to go as far as commit a murder, do you think they're gonna stop at having the inability to buy a firearm? No. They're gonna easily go buy one illegally off the street. The only result that's gonna come out of that is you now don't have a firearm to defend yourself, and he hasn't illegally bought one. I mean, if you think about it, it's absolutely bananas the fact that somebody thinks if we ban firearms, it's going to stop murders. Hear me out. We already banned murders, and people still do it. If somebody got stabbed in the eye with a spoon, are we gonna start banning spoons? Probably not. What we need to do is grow the hell up and stop thinking with our feelings and think with your brain and figure out what a realistic solution is. For some reason, we seem to want to overlook the fact that mental illness is to blame here and not a firearm. That gun can't jump off the table and shoot somebody without the mentally unstable person behind the trigger pulling the trigger. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think there's any form of gun control that could or couldn't work? I personally don't believe that gun control in any capacity will help reduce the number of murders or just gun violence in general. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it informative, be sure to click that like and subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more videos just like this. And as always, until next time, stay safe.